Hello there, 8th graders from Beehive School. It's a pleasure to have you here with me in our second online lesson. Thank you for coming, and I hope you are adapting well to this new way of working with all the digital sources and stuff. Trust me that I prefer looking at every one of you and having some fun in the class with everyone. But of course, because of the situation that is going on in the country right now, it's better if we just stay at home. So thank you for coming one more time and welcome to the science class for week 11. Today we are going to be studying lesson 1, the air around you, which you will find in your book on pages 74 to 77. And before we start, we just have some general instructions. Those are things that you did already in the last class. But just to refresh your mind, number 1, get your physical or digital book, enter to the Google Classroom, download the Word document from the Google Classroom, save it inside the science folder, name it in the following way. Add your code, your name, grade, and section. For example, code will be number 8, name, Krishna Ochoa, grade and section 7th A. Just something extremely important, just like you can read there in the observation. It's crucial that you have this name in your Word document because I noticed that last week many students did not have the appropriate name in the Word document. There you have an example in the picture. And one more time, you have the code, name, grade, and section. Remember that in the rubric that I use to evaluate your work online, I specify a specific section for the format. So if you don't have this format in the Word document, you will have less points. So make sure to pay attention to this before we start. Remember, as we move, you have to take notes on your Word document. That's something very important that you do not have to forget, because that is going to help you out to gather the most important information from this video. And of course, it will help you out to learn better. So, as I was telling you, we're going to study lesson 1, the air around you. And we have to begin with our end in mind. And the end in mind for this topic is explain the composition of air in atmosphere conditions in Earth. So, make sure to copy the end in mind in your Word document to start keeping track of everything we have discussed here. We have some very important concepts for this topic, and the first one is weather. Weather is the conditions of the atmosphere in a certain part of Earth. A very simple example that I can give you is Quetzaltenango. We can analyze the weather in Quetzaltenango. It has a very cloudy, very foggy, and cold weather. And it is totally different to the one that we are going to find in Retaloleo, for example. In Rio, we can find a way more humid kind of weather, and of course, it's way hotter than in Quetzaltenango. So that's what we refer to when we talk about weather. We have the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is an envelope of gases that surround Earth. It is composed by nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and other gases. So here we have a very beautiful picture of what the atmosphere looks like around Earth. And the atmosphere in Earth is extremely important for all living beings because thanks to its composition and to the interaction that it has with water, some scientists have theorized that it was possible to create life. So without the atmosphere and the conditions that we have in Earth, it is impossible to create life. That is why scientists have not found just yet intelligent life in other planets. All right, moving on. We have some other important concepts. We have water vapor. Air contains water vapor all the time, although it changes from place to place. Here we have two pictures. The one in the left is the marsh and the one in the right is a desert. So And based on the concept that we had before, water vapor, we can say that air always has water. But of course, depending on what part of the world you are at, you are going to find more or less water in air. For example, if we analyze both pictures, of course, we are going to notice that in the picture on the left, in the marsh, you're going to find way more water than in the picture on the right, on the desert. But both of them have water. Then we have, how is the atmosphere a system? It interacts with other Earth systems, such as the wind and the ocean. Remember, we studied in the wind systems in Earth a couple of lessons ago, and you notice that there are warm currents of wind, there are cold currents of wind, and all of that is constantly interacting with the atmosphere. It also interacts with the ocean because when water evaporates, it goes to the atmosphere. Then, because of low temperature, it condenses, and then we have precipitation, just like we studied before in the water cycle. It interacts with air and sunlight. So, something very important that we have to notice is sunlight here. So, when sunlight enters the atmosphere and then it hits the ground, and then it sort of goes up again and it goes like out of our planet as well. But what happens is that thanks to our atmosphere, there are certain rays of the light of the sunlight that stay inside our planet. So that causes our planet to have a certain temperature. It is not way too hot or way too cold to have life. So here we have a picture of a little bit of everything that I was talking about. We have the interaction of the ocean, of the wind, but we can also notice some industries. And you can notice that those industries are producing carbon dioxide or CO2. So remember that the composition of the atmosphere is a part of carbon dioxide, but it's 99% composed, or most likely 98% composed by oxygen and hydrogen. And there is just 1% composed by carbon dioxide. And all of that is being affected because of human activity, because we are actually increasing the amount of carbon dioxide that we can find in the atmosphere, when that is totally not the natural composition of that. Right, so we're moving on. And it was a pretty short lesson that contained mostly the most important information that you can find in the chapter. And here we have our evaluation. So please read pages 74 to 77 and complete the summary that you already have. I already gave you most of the information that you can find in your book. Just make sure to read the pages and complement what you already have. And besides that, you have to answer the following questions. What is weather? What is the first and second most abundant gases that make up the atmosphere? Does air contain water vapor? Explain your answer. Is the atmosphere part of a system? How does human activity affect air in the atmosphere? And of course, you have to upload the Word document with your summary and images to the Google Classroom. Then what is the rubric that I will use for evaluation? Format 2 points, meaningful content 2 points, grammar 2 points, images 2 points, order 1 point, and delivered on time 1 point. That will make up a total of 10 points for this week. So thank you everyone for attending today's lesson. I really hope that you are doing well at home and that you are safe. Remember that if it's not crucial to go out of your house, please remain at home. And try to start a new healthy habit. You can exercise a little bit, read, or just have time with your family. So it's been great. having contact with you somehow today. Thank you for coming, and I will see you next week. Take care.